Bismillah, and welcome back to Emerald Wellbeing and Coffee Lounge, your sanctuary for truth, healing, and growth. I'm Shigufta, qualified nurse, health mentor, and founder of Your Health is Your Wealth on Inspire 105.1 FM, with over 12 years of healthcare and radio experience. This space is for women like you, navigating trauma, heartbreak, hardship, and ready to heal. Welcome to episode 2, the truth about epigenetics, trauma and healing, healthy ever after. Today, I'm going to tell you the truth, not filtered, not polished, just real, because the truth will open your eyes and healing only begins with understanding. You are not a prisoner of your past. You are not doomed by your genes. You are not broken, and you can be healthy, empowered, renewed. And epigenetics is the proof. Now, I want to actually go ahead and actually talk about what epigenetics is, because that is something you're going to hear throughout my coaching. If you get coaching done with me, whether you listen to my podcasts or follow me on Instagram, you will hear me speak about epigenetics a lot. So today I'm going to break that down so you actually understand it quite easily, and hopefully it will make things a bit easier for you. And the most important part is, as you know, this is Emerald Wellbeing and Coffee Lounge. You need to have your coffee with you when you listen to these podcasts. So that's what it's all about. So you can relax and listen. Now, don't get me wrong, if you don't drink coffee, it's not a problem. You can have any other drink that you like, whether that's green tea, Earl Grey, Assam tea, whatever you like, you can have that, of course. But if you're not a drinker of tea or coffee, please don't worry. This is your show. This is your podcast. And for women like you, I want you to enjoy it and learn something from it. So what is epigenetics? The word epi means above. So epigenetic means above the genes. So I want you to think of your DNA as a piano, for example. So the keys are your genes. Epigenetics is the pianist deciding what gets played, how loud, how soft, or not at all. So your genes basically load the gun, your lifestyle pulls the trigger or disarms it, if that makes sense. Okay. So what affects gene expression? So think of your thoughts, your emotions, stress, sleep, food, movement, belief, relationships. These all affect the expression of the gene, switching on or switching off. For example, I want you to understand that you actually have more power than what you've ever been told. I'm going to break it down for you. So, for example, just listen very carefully. You may inherit a gene for diabetes, for example, or you could say cancer, but that gene must be activated by certain conditions like poor diet, chronic stress, or toxic thinking. That means that you can also sometimes prevent illness by changing the environment your genes live in. All right? So I want you to understand that. Science and Islam, they go hand in hand. Bruce Lipton, he says environment controls gene expression. Let me get you the Quran, the quote from Surah Al-Rad, Surah 13:11. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Indeed, Allah does not change the condition of a people until they change what is within themselves. So I want to give you a little example of that. That's a very powerful surah. If you think about it more deeper and the way I have understood it, there are so many ways you can understand this, but you could say, well, if you don't change something, a habit or something, you'll remain in the same condition. Well, that is true. But this also means it's deeper than that. So it's almost like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you a clue how to live your life. And if certain situations happen, or you live in a certain environment, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator and He knows what you're going to go through or what has been written for you. then Allah's also telling you Allah doesn't change the condition of the people until they change what is within themselves. So this life, you know that we will be tested and tried with so many things. So Allah knows what was going to happen, what is going to happen. But you have to understand that if you are in an environment where there's trauma or where there's neglect, or you've had childhood issues, or you've had that as an adult, teenage life, or you've seen some grief or some hardship at any time in your life, you can apply this surah and you can understand that it won't change. The condition of that particular issue won't change until you change what is within yourself. What is within yourself? If you are carrying resentment, for example, if you are carrying, pain or hurt or grief, then that condition you are in will go wherever you are, wherever you, if you do not change that, i.e., for example, you haven't spoken about it, you've kept it inside of your heart and don't speak about it, and it hurts you, and you haven't dealt with it, that therefore that condition, that grief, you will carry that. So it doesn't matter where you go in the world or what you do, where you work, where you get married, or if you're divorced, it means it will stay until you change that. So this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is already telling us, that we have the ability to change conditions within ourselves. And it's within ourselves. It's not about only the environment that needs to be changed. It's something that starts with you inside. Now, remember, you are not stuck. You are designed for change. Now, here's what most people never knew. Your body isn't just flesh, it's memory. So every cell holds emotional memory, but also it can carry healing memory. So remember that. So if you are having emotional memory and things that have happened, especially with trauma, you have to know on the flip side, there is also healing memory. So that's the miracle of how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us. What the sad thing is, unfortunate thing is, most people of the human kind do not know this or aren't aware of this. Yes, epigenetics is now being spoken about, but probably not enough. And there are some who may not even believe in this, but Islam and science go hand in hand, and you will understand that there is proof and there is evidence for this. The surah that I have just read, Surah Al-Rad 13:11, also proves this as well. Now, I want you to also understand trauma and illness. This equates to unseen connection. Okay, trauma doesn't just happen and leave. It lodges in the body, in the gut, in the reproductive system, in the nervous system. I'll give you some examples of some people that I have worked with. I've changed the names for obvious reasons. For example, Salma, 38-year-old female. She's got autoimmune disease, and after years of silent heartbreak, betrayal, and feeling invisible, when she began expressing emotion, journaling, praying with purpose, the symptoms that she had began to ease, subhanAllah. Zainab, 40 years old, she had years of back pain, and she always carried everyone's burdens, but she never asked for help. When she started inner healing and setting boundaries, her body started to release tension. Alia, 33, struggled with PCOS, and infertility. Trauma from childhood was actually stored in her womb. So through womb healing, dua, Quran, therapy, and nourishment, she actually conceived naturally, subhanAllah. And also, a particular, one of the husbands for the lady that I worked with, had high blood pressure and digestive issues, and childhood trauma and work stress. After implementing breathwork, prayer, and nutritional detox with supplements, then he also felt much better and actually continued with better living, subhanAllah. So you might be asking, where does trauma hide then? Now, in the gut. What hides in the gut? Fear and suppression. So when you suppress your emotions, they will affect your gut and everything in the gut, and also fear that will be causing you problems in the gut. Trauma that is hidden in the womb will have problems like PCOS, will have fertility problems, will have monthly problems. And this shame, grief, and ancestral pain, and things that have been passed down from your mum, your nan, they can be passed down, and there's evidence of that, and it is passed down. And unfortunately, it can cause problems with the womb area, reproductive area for women. And there is again proof of that. Usually, things with shame, grief, that can cause problems there as well. In the heart, when trauma hides in the heart, it's because of loss or betrayal, and then this can affect your heart. Skin, the trauma that affects your skin is rejection and self-loathing. If you've been rejected, may notice skin condition. It doesn't necessarily have to be your face, it could be anywhere on your body. So these are just some of the things, just some examples I'm giving you where trauma hides. Now, I want you to understand how emotional roots are linked to illness. This is the most important part I want you to understand. So the liver, that is what emotions are caused and stored. Is anger. So anyone with anger, or anyone you know, or yourself, if you have a lot of anger inside of you, and then you will likely have liver problems. Sometimes it's not visible straight away, but it will manifest into some sort of problem. Usually this does happen. Thyroid. Now, thyroid issues. Why do some people have this? Well, many people who have thyroid problems, they feel voiceless. So it could have started when they were children, young children, teenage, early adulthood, even midlife. People have thyroid, diagnosed most ages, different ages, and it could be because they're feeling voiceless. Bladder problems. What fear? It's fear. Holding on to fear can cause your bladder problems. Any knee problems? Well, that means this person is inflexible. They will not move for anyone. It is their way. They have a high ego, so they have some knee problems. Lungs, in issues with your lungs, if you have recurrent infections of your lungs or any lung problems, then it's usually grief that can be the cause of some of this. Stomach, any stomach issues, it's fear of the unknown. So worrying, scared of not knowing what will happen. Okay, so this can cause stomach problems. Now, Islam teaches us to let go through tawbah, sabr, patience, tawakkul. Release actually creates healing, subhanAllah. I want to also now speak about nutrition and how important this is actually in healing. This is actually the missing link in your healing. And I want you to listen very carefully. You can't heal a stressed out body with processed food, for example. Okay. The key nutrients for healing are B vitamins. B vitamins, they calm the nervous system. Magnesium, it reduces anxiety and improves your sleep. Vitamin D, it's critical for your immune system and mood balance. Your omega-3s, they're anti-inflammatory, and they also improve your brain function. Zinc, this supports your gut and hormone repair. Food, so this is basically information for your genes. So leafy greens, turmeric, berries, seeds, these tell your genes to repair. Sugar, fried foods, additives, these activate inflammation and stress genes. So do you now understand how everything affects your genes, and you actually have a choice, either repair or stress the genes? Okay, so literally the high sugary foods, fried foods, all of these sort of shop bought foods and things like that, um, that have a lot of ingredients on the packaging, then you know that they've got so many chemicals in them and things like that. They activate inflammation and stress genes. But on the other hand, if you're having lots of leafy greens, vegetables, turmeric, berries, seeds, these will tell your genes to repair. I'll give you the evidence. So nutrigenomics, it basically shows how food directly affects the epigenetic markers. So women with depression improved symptoms just by correcting nutrient deficiencies. And this has also been seen in, when I coach women, they eat to reduce inflammation. They also heal their gut, rebuild their hormones, and support detox pathways. Our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "There is no disease that Allah has created except that He also has created its treatment." And this has been mentioned in Bukhari. So this brings me on to qadr and healing. So many people, they ask this question. Isn't everything written? So if it's all written, if disease runs in my family, or for example diabetes or high blood pressures in the family, so if I get it, I get it, it's in the family. Lots of people say this, or it's written down for me, so I can't stop that. You hear people say that. It's part of life. I'm going to be patient with it. I hear this. You may have heard this, or you yourself might be saying this. So you want to know, isn't everything written? Yes, but Allah gave you choice within the plan. Okay? Allah gave you choice within His plan. Your test is written, but your response, that's your power. So that's for you. The power for you to do is your response. How will you react? How will you behave? What are you going to do? So every time, for example, when you eat with the intention, choose peace over chaos, seek Allah, forgive, let go. You're changing how your body responds, basically. You're aligning your biology with your belief. So, for example, if you're feeling very angry, but you want to have a peaceful, evening, but you're angry inside and you're eating food, what will happen is that food, it will become different inside of you. The composition, when it breaks in your body, it will become different because you are feeling angry. Remember, every cell can hear and feel what you're thinking. Okay, so your body is, the cells, they're listening to you, your thoughts, your body, your brain, your cells, everything inside of your body is listening and responding according to how you're thinking and feeling. So the food will also react in your body the way you are feeling. Does that make sense? So if you are eating with anger, that food, you may feel severely hungry afterwards, for example. Or you've eaten that food before, but this time you've developed, bloating or indigestion, and or you feel very sick, or you just don't feel good. That's because of the intention you're eating with. You're not very happy and angry, so that's what's going to happen. It's going to cause problems inside of your body. But if you eat with peace and say Bismillah, and you're grateful to Allah for that food, even if you're going through some problems, you still say Bismillah, you still say Alhamdulillah, then that particular food will become such a blessing for you and your body that you will feel lighter, you will feel energetic, you will feel healed, you will just feel just a sense of goodness and just a healthy way. That is what's going to happen. Now, there's some truth you need to hear, and I'm going to explain why you need to know this. This podcast that I do, it isn't actually soft, sugary talks. It's soul talk. I'm doing this because so many women are going through round and round, just doing the same thing every month, year after year. Nothing is changing. They're feeling tired all the time, and this could be you. Random health issues that doctors can't explain. Heavy periods, migraines, gut pain, emotional overwhelm, fatigue, numbness, just just not feeling themselves, then you need to know this is your wake-up call. And you need to also know you aren't broken. You've just been carrying too much. This doesn't have to be your life. Just because your grandfather or your mother or your father has some disease or health problem, you have to stop thinking in a way that you've been, taught that it runs in the family. It's going to happen to you because it runs in the family. Remember, what you can do is you can change the gene expression. You can switch it off. Just because you carry that in the DNA doesn't mean it has to switch on. You can, inshallah, you can try to switch it off. You have to try your best. Ultimately, what is written, what Allah has willed for you is going to happen. It's what you do is what's going to count. That's what you're going to be, answerable about. How you reacted, how you behaved, what did you do in a blessed situation or a situation that is a huge test for you, in grief, in loss, in betrayal. How did you behave? And that's your wake-up call, that you are not broken. You've just been carrying too much, and you haven't been taught the truth that you can actually change that expression. You can get it switched on or switched off. So I also want to make you understand that the people who do have disease, people who are going through different major disease, right? You have to understand that this podcast that I'm doing, it's not to say that every single person who has disease, it's because of the way they were thinking or it's their fault. No, nothing, no person who has disease is their fault at all, okay? We know that what is written is qadr, and if Allah has willed something for us, we accept. However, there's things you can do about it. There's things you can do. For example, if you have diabetes, you've been diagnosed with it. Is it early stages? Is it pre-diabetes? Is it just diet control? Are you on medication? Are you on insulin? There's so many stages. So if it's pre-diabetes, what can you do? It means you may be able to reverse it, because it's not even diet control. You're just at the beginning where you could develop it in a few months. But if you change your lifestyle, if you change, this is what is being taught. This is the truth. You can actually, inshallah, God willing, stop that from happening, if you try your best. So that's just an example I'm giving you. So I hope that makes sense, that you try your best. And even if you try your best and you do your best and you feel the best and you think the best and you try to stay positive, in the 7 days, 5 days you're positive, maybe one day you're feeling not yourself, that's okay, because you're a human being, no problem. But you always go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You always turn to Him. That's the key thing, okay? You will still feel a sense of relief when you know that I've tried my best. Okay, if I have been diagnosed with something, I'm still going to accept it as qadr, and I'm going to receive this as a sign where I have to change a certain way. Am I eating the right foods? Am I helping myself? Even if I have been diagnosed with something, what can I do to help myself? Is there anything I can do to improve my disease that will lessen the pain maybe, or accelerate the illness? What can I do? There's plenty you can do. And then you are still going to be accountable for how you react. So if you are diagnosed with cancer, for example, unfortunately, it is a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then depending on what stage you're at, you can still do your part until you have no more strength. If that happens, you carry on and you still just turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But until you have the strength, until you have the ability, until you have your cognitive function, you can try your best to live in the most healthiest way possible. You just have to do your best and know that you can always try. What steps can you do today, for example? I'll tell you now. Number one, drink water, for example, like it's medicine. So don't think of drinking water like it's a burden or it's just water. Think of water as a blessing. It's a huge blessing. We are like 70-80% water. We're created from water. Every living thing is made from water, okay? So we should be treating water like a huge blessing. Number 2, cut processed sugar out as much as you possibly can. Number 3, move daily. I will say this, even if it's 10 minutes, right? It's just simple. Move around. So I'm not even saying if you can't go for a walk, no worries. Just move around in your home, go up and down the stairs if you have stairs. If you have problems with mobility, then just sit down and move your arms and legs while you're sitting down, if that's something, but do movement, make intention. It's so important that you move your body and move around. But for people who are able to walk and have mobility, try and walk 30 minutes, 5 days a week at least. That will improve your health so much. Do your dhikr after Fajr. Don't just get up. Have that moment of just some mindfulness, meditation for you and Allah. Okay? Journal. This is so important, okay? You can write, for example, what am I still holding on to that hurts me? You can write that down and then answer it yourself. Trust me, it will come out. When you write it, you'll feel a lot better. Also, say this daily. Allah is the healer and I'm ready to receive. Allah is the healer and I am ready to receive. Allah is the healer and I am ready to receive. Eat something green every day, okay? Choosing one thing to let go of. Perhaps you've been holding on to something, resenting something. Let go of something, something you don't need to think of that doesn't serve you. Let it go. Trust your intuition. It's divine. It's a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And take the next right step. Not the perfect one, just the right step, okay? I want to also say something. Now, so many people aren't able to get all of their daily intakes of greens and things like that. And some people, they just have issues with having lots of vegetables and things like that and fruit. And eating healthily generally is a problem. It's just a global issue, to be honest. And a lot of people aren't getting the good food that they're supposed to. But that is also where sometimes people can get help through supplements when they're unable to get enough throughout the day. And alhamdulillah, I do also do supplements, my own Emerald Health and Wellbeing supplements. I do them. So if you are interested, then you can just go to EH_food supplements on Instagram or contact me at Emerald Health and Wellbeing on Instagram, all one word, if you are interested, or you can comment also below. Now, I want you to understand this is the most important message I'm going to give you. You are not your trauma. You are not your mother's pain or your past heartbreak or your diagnosis. You are Allah's creation and you are capable of healing, okay? So with the right knowledge, intention, nutrition and tawakkul, you can live healthily ever after. Please do come back next week for another deep dive into healing, rooted in Islam, truth and love. And don't forget to follow me at Emerald Health and Wellbeing on Instagram for your healing journey with love and du'as. I say salamu alaikum until next week.